Oh, boy. What a shirt Gibby has on today. Are you kidding me with this thing?
Yes, we're gonna try. We gotta.
It's unbelievable.
I was hoping the Zoom didn't come up in time for you to see. We were gonna bring him out here. We were gonna have him peacock around on the big screen.
Oh, I'm gonna walk out.
Look at this. This is a Hawaiian shirt.
That's right.
Come on out, Gibby. Out there. It's an Hawaiian shirt. It's got various humans that work there at the facility.
Yes. It's the content department with an unbelievable picture of Baco, by the way. Baco's picture is outrageous.
Oh, look at Baco. God, he looks great. Looks just great.
I'm wearing my shirt from the T-shirt exchange, and then I'm working on constructing mine for my recipient who does not know that they will be my recipient. And there he is. Look at Gibby. As I like to say. Now that he's got his helmet off.
Beautiful.
Let him hear you.
Let him hear you, folks.
Let him hear you, Gibby.
Is that gorgeous?
It's unreal.
What a time.
It's supposed to be a T-shirt exchange. That produced my World's Team Express shirt. And Drew had Gibby, Drew Davidson, huge friend of the show, legend in his own time. Many standing ovations been handed
Well,
out.
he's a man who's worn the urban sombrero.
And wore it, frankly, like it was meant to be worn. When you saw that picture, you said, that's an urban sombrero.
That's how it should look.
Living its best life on the head of Drew Davidson.
That's right.
And so Drew said, Gibby, I don't see you as much as a T-shirt guy, but I do see you as a Hawaiian shirt guy.
You're damn right he does.
And here it is. Gibby said he looked like a former Browns coach. I
might have walked shirtless around the office, not going to lie, while I was trying to get this undone.
And that I was not prepared for. I wasn't prepared for it, but I'm glad I was here for it.
I texted a picture to my wife.
You're not going to unsee it.
The text just came through, and she said, oh, my God, I just peed myself.
Yes.
So there's that.
All right.
First day of training camp.
Boy, that's a beaut.
Here we go. 2 weeks from today.
I love it.
Let's go.
I love it. This is spectacular.
It's pretty. Great. It's incredible.
Who knew you could do that?
In person, it's even better.
I'm shook.
Yeah. It's really spectacular.
There aren't words. Because I did not know what to expect.
I didn't know that was possible.
It's a good thing we're on a medium right now that relies solely on words. It's a wonderful thing when you're left speechless.
Well, that's why I'm explaining.
No, I know.
I'm doing my best to explain. It is I would describe it as a jade aqua Hawaiian shirt with pink flowers.
Yep. Some hibiscus, pink hibiscus.
Yeah, there's hibiscus. Yep, for sure. And then there's your faces splattered all over it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
me, Paul, Keith, Drew.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Ricky, New Rob in a bucket, which is pretty strong. And then Baco with, I don't know what's happening on Baco's head, but I feel like that's a doctored image.
I have no idea what's going on with Baco's dome.
Yeah, I think that's very likely. Well, that's great. That is fantastic. And as you guys mentioned, we'll get to this in a second. Is it lost on either of you? By the way, Gibby, good to have you back. Everything okay?
Yeah. Update us.
A little bit of a work in progress.
They're
at the house working.
Okay.
Well, I had to bring in the gutter guys can't do the carpentry, and they're not licensed in the city. So then I got to get someone construction-wise. Never mind the fact there's a hole in my house.
So the storm took a section down?
No. So we were getting new gutters.
Right.
Okay. In part because the one gutter, we had some flooding issues, so we had to redo the ground and then in the driveway, and then the gutter overhead was not slanted right. So
okay.
My wife tells me it's going to be a couple hours, like Thursday morning. No big deal. Great. I'll work from home.
Sure.
I had a couple calls, meetings anyways I was on. And all of a sudden I could hear them. They're taking down the gutters. And I just hear the one guy go, oh, no. And I'm like, well, that only means one thing.
Nobody wants to hear that.
No. And I could hear him through like the windows were closed. The AC was on. Not great. The guy comes to the door and he's like, hey, the entire front, like where the gutter is, the wood behind it's totally rotted out. Okay.
Well, you can't have that.
No, and then they're like, all right, so we can do all the gutters on the other 3 sides. We just can't do the front. And they're like, we'll be back. Just call us. I'm like, whoa, we can't just leave. I can't have rodents get it. Like I can go up in my attic and look out the window, look outside.
Yeah, we can't have that.
No. This is society.
Yeah. So like they went back up. We kind of put it together, got it covered up. And then I spent the day with contractors, and I'm like, who can come out like yesterday?
Yeah, who can be here right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and one thing is that type of stuff, there's really no demand for it right now. So you ought to be able to get somebody in about 6 minutes.
Sure.
At a very reasonable rate.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no one else is doing any home improvement at the moment.
And especially
I
people that are
going to experience.
You're going to get them there in 6 minutes. They're going to tell you it's going to be done on this date, and it probably will be done before that if I'm guessing how it's going to
be done before it, under budget.
Under budget.
Because there's all the materials you need and then some.
Yeah.
At a very low rate.
I heard they're giving lumber away right now.
God bless him. I mean, the guy showed up and he gives me a price, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to? I can't haggle. Like, you're the first one that's answered a phone call.
He's here.
Like, you showed
You're
up
here,
same day.
so yeah,
congratulations.
What are your best
Charge
abilities?
you $8
Your
million
availability.
Yeah,
that,
right now.
go,
Right now, like it's supposed to rain all day, and tomorrow, shocking development.
Did I tell you guys?
Golf.
We were talking. Well, yeah, it's biblical rain forever. That's just where it is. Like there is no summer. It's done. It's over. I mean, you heard 2 weeks to camp. It's done. There's no summer. Just deal with it. That's where we're at. And we're not going to have it because it's going to rain today. It's going to rain tomorrow.
It even looks good in England right now, Beau. It even looks great at Royal St. George's. It's a stunning day.
They're in polos, short sleeve. There's not a cloud in the sky. There's not a breath of wind. The course looks gorgeous, emerald green.
They're lighting it up.
Oh, just lighten it up. You were mentioning the lumber pricing. So this pretty much summarizes my dad in a lot of ways. So he tells me, this was like 2 weeks ago I was talking to him, and which about once every 2 weeks is about as much as I can handle. And he goes, you can buy whatever cut of wood, let's say, for the sake of this conversation. It wasn't plywood, but let's say that it was. Let's say for the sake of this conversation, you used to be able to buy plywood for $8 a sheet, and now it's $50. He goes, so he gets in. It really bothers him that he can buy. Now, what's he going to do with it? I have no idea. But it's not like he's building anything.
Right, he doesn't need.
So it really bothers him that the price. No, he's not putting up a structure. So it really bothers him that the wood is now 5 times more than what it was a year ago. It really bothers him.
He's anti-gouge.
He goes, boy, what I would do to just go back a year and buy a pallet of it. And I go, and do what? What are you going to do? Are you going to run a market out of the Ponderosa?
He's going to be
have people drive for sheets of plywood?
Yeah,
a wood salesman. This is what you're going to do? Like, what would you do? What's the end game?
Listen, he's like, I got a 1 year, 5X wood business. Stop hating, son.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, sure he would. It would be in a pile. That's what it would be, in a pile. That's how that would go. Well, it's good to have you back, Gibby. It's very good to have you back. It's very good. You mentioned, as I watched this morning, it's splendid. I mean, the weather was sensational. I watched this, and I just go back to our conversation. I don't understand why we don't have a course like this on Lake Erie.
Same. I would love it.
It's just ridiculous.
It should be.
It's not done.
It should be. It's great. I woke up this morning. I had something in my eye at like 5:20, I believe it was.
Yep.
While I was tending to that and flushing this thing out of my eye, whatever it was, and I did get it out, which makes me very happy. Because a couple of years ago, and it scared me, it felt very similar to what happened to me a couple of years ago when my grill brush, cleaning the grill, the metal grill brush, one of the little pieces of wire, unbeknownst to me, was in my eye for like a week. And I was like, I just constantly had something in my eye. And so I finally went to the doctor, goes, oh, yeah, you have a piece of metal in here. So I don't use those anymore, but it felt like it. So I got nervous because I actually did brush one time with it. And I was like, maybe I did that again. But fortunately I did. But yeah, 5:21, I threw on for 10 minutes while I was trying to flush it out and make sure my eye was back to normal. You can throw on the British, throw on the Open. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. A lot of scoring.
Oh, Morikawa. I mean, what he did at Harding Park was impressive. What he did today was impressive. You got Spieth and Oosthuizen. I mean, this is 3 major champions,
Koepka,
all at the top of the board.
Koepka with a 66, so he's
from
up
Brooks.
to -5.
That's right.
You know, and it just looks sensational over there.
Our boy Marcel.
I've never seen the British like this.
No, it's beautiful. And our boy Marcel, another -3, back 67s.
Did you hear him talk this morning?
I hope it's everything that I want it to be.
Okay, so Marcel, is it CM?
CM.
SAIM, is that?
SIEM.
So he's the guy he's got the man.
The man bun. Oh, yeah.
Doesn't wear a hat, which I love. I love that. It looks awesome. So you told me yesterday he was German, and I said he looks like we worked with Hans Gruber on the Nakatone Plaza operation, is what he looks like. So I'm thinking, okay, well, let's hear from the German. So they put him on the mic, and I'm pretty sure he's got an English accent.
Marcel doesn't strike me. It seems more French to me than anything. Interesting.
For sure. I mean, it definitely is. It was almost. Maybe he's Dutch, and he just. I don't know. There was no. It was hard for me to even make out the accent, but I know it was not German. It was not German. The accent was not German.
Amazing. Speaking of amazing, the picture of Baco on Gibbe's. I just received a text from Baco, not doctored. It's a pic of me in 5th grade. That is 5th grade Baco with some highlights really on the top of his head, is what you'd have to call it.
He really lightened it up?
He really went blonde up top.
Man.
Gibby, now that you know that and you looked at it, what is your response to that?
Shocked he didn't get engaged sooner.
with that look.
I mean, the women.
Oh, Baco, legend.
I mean, in college, I'll date you on Monday. I'll date you on Tuesday. Wednesday.
Can we? You. What's the Robin Hood? With again, Alan Rickman, another great Rickman.
Oh,
you 7 o'clock, you 9. Remember that one? I can't say all of it. I don't want to get in trouble, but
the sheriff of Nottingham.
The sheriff of Nottingham. Yeah. Yep. That's pretty strong. All right, let's get into the OBN Hot Topics. OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider of your Cleveland Browns. All the X's and O's for your office. You can call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Training camp 2 weeks from today. 12 free open practices for fans at the team's facility here in Berea. All of the sessions available in Berea begin on Friday in 2 weeks. 2:25 is when those are going to start. Gates are going to open 1 hour beforehand. There are modified training camp logistics to emphasize health and safety for players, fans, and coaches. About 2,000 fans at each practice. Starting on Monday, Browns fans can register to secure up to 4 tickets per account for their training camp session. After pooling all requests, tickets to 1 practice per registrant will be distributed. There you go. They'll be accessible through the Browns app. Similar to 2019, printed tickets will not be available in 2021. Just to give you an idea of where it is, the open practices will be Friday the 30th, Saturday the 31st, all the way through August 3rd, August 4th, 5th, 6th, all the way through. So that whole stretch. And then again the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So those would be those are not open. Wait a second. This is confusing, Gibby. You got there's closed practices. Okay. You got two columns. 2 columns for the kid. Your shirt has unnerved me. 2 columns for the kid. So everything I said is accurate. The closed practices were later in August. So that's where you go. It's going to be exciting. Going to be fun to see. And in 2 weeks from today, my friend.
Yeah, 2 weeks from today. And, yeah, I think the 12 sessions you mentioned, the final one is Wednesday, August the 18th. So that's going to take you through – that'll be the week leading up to the game here against the Giants, preseason game number 2 at First Energy Stadium. That's Sunday at 1 o'clock. And what an interesting preseason schedule we have this year. We have Saturday, Sunday, Sunday. None of the typical, Thursday preseason games or a Friday night here
Friday
or there.
Night?
No, we have one on Saturday. Jacksonville's a Saturday night, and then Sunday at 1, which is a normal time, and then Sunday night football for the preseason finale down in Hotlanta.
Do you feel the second game will be treated as the, quote, dress rehearsal or the third?
I don't know. I'm hoping the third. Personally, I hope it's the third because you get 2 weeks off after that, which would be the same as you would have if there were a fourth preseason game and then the season for your starters. So I think you would treat 1, 2, 3 as just the same.
I would think so, too. I mean, selfishly, I'm rooting for 2 because that's the one that our fans will be able to see.
It's nice
to
have,
I'm a man of the people, unlike
nice
you, who's just wants to give it to your people in Atlanta. Here I am trying to give it to the good people of Cleveland.
No, what I'm saying, it'd be nice if you've got Al on the
your
call.
Your instincts were to give it to Atlanta.
If you got Al on the call on Sunday Night Football, I think we'd like to see some.
Is Al on the call, do you think?
Some people of
you think he's
note.
doing that, or are they going to run Tirico out there?
No, so each network does like one big trial run for their A team. So I would expect it will be Michaels and Collinsworth.
Yeah, Sunday night.
Well, are you sure they don't do the Hall of? Who's doing Hoff game?
That I don't know.
Stand by.
But usually, I think doesn't NBC have the Hoff game?
I don't know if they do. Wouldn't you also want the people though to get 3 nice looks at our guys? Like this is my mind.
No.
One series,
quite frankly,
one
no.
quarter,
I would rather
one half
none of them play
into the sunset.
I'd rather none of them play, and I'll see against Kansas City. That's what would be ideal for me.
I do think we need our D to get on the field for some run. Just practice gelling.
Well, very minimally.
Sure.
Like just a thud. I don't need tackle to the ground.
No, 2-hand touch.
Fox with the Hall of Fame game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that's interesting. I felt like I felt like NBC's had that a lot, but maybe it rotates. Who is in the Hall of Fame game this year? Steelers and
Cowboys and Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh.
So you'll get Aikman for that, I bet.
If they Yeah. Oh, for sure. Who's going in Jimmy's going in. That's why Fox has it. Right?
Yep.
Jimmy Johnson's going in?
I think so. I don't know. Is this like the whole big class? Is this like last year?
I don't know what they're going to do.
I think
you've got 2 classes.
Yes. I think that might be right. Speaking of Jimmy, you saw his comments about Urban Meyer, how frustrated he is. We didn't talk about this. I'm sure you've talked about this extensively down in Columbus.
Yeah.
You know Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Is he really surprised about the rules of engagement in the league?
Yeah. Yep. I mean this is the highest form of compliment, and because I think it's why he was what he is. And maybe I've said it before on this show. Sometimes I get confused what I say on what. But this is what I would say. That while the man coached college football, he was singularly focused on college football only. My hunch is that aside from occasionally watching a playoff game or the Super Bowl, he watched no NFL. None. 0. I would bet you that while he is aware of how his guys are doing, that he watched no Sunday football, that he's on to Michigan, on to Michigan State, on to Iowa, on to whoever. Recruit. So singularly focused that he had no idea. Now, if you're to say, if the counter is, well, why would he not have asked people? So the people that he did ask about what life was like, one of them was Jimmy Johnson. He leaned on Jimmy a lot, right? Because they both worked at Fox. They were in the same facility. He leaned on Jimmy a lot. Well, the NFL has changed a lot from when Jimmy coached to now. So many of Jimmy's experiences or issues that Jimmy maybe would have had with lack of access to players weren't issues when he coached.
He was probably still having 2-a-days. I mean, it's the early 90s, right?
Oh, my gosh. Even with the Dolphins, he was there in the mid to late 90s. I mean, it's 20-plus years.
Yeah.
So they had a full offseason program. They would have had, the way the NFL used to be. So, yes, when you say, how was he unaware, that's how. That's how. And I think that first hire of that Doyle guy who was the coach at Iowa who got in trouble, that hire told you what he thought he was getting. He thought what he needed was what college has, which is these guys are going to be here all summer. We got to train them. That's why he hired that guy. That guy was making $1 million a year at Iowa before he got fired.
Jeez.
Strength and conditioning. That's not what they make at the league. But that's what they make in big-time college. So that's what he thought. He thought that he would have his hands on these guys all the time. And I don't know if he knows what to do with himself with all the downtime that an NFL season has in compared to college. It's a lot. It's a lot less. A lot less demands in the offseason. You can have a normal kind of life in the offseason. So I'm sure it's surprising to some, but I mean, I've been around him like game week and stuff. I don't even know if he could identify his kids. Like, he's so tunneled. He grips it so tight.
So,
which is probably why he can only be in places 6-7 years.
It just makes me wonder. I know that because he's a first-year coach, they had the right to reject Hard Knocks. I just really think it would have been perhaps the most compelling NFL television show you could put around a training camp with a guy who seemingly didn't even really know what he was getting into as it relates to training camp and all of this.
Oh, I agree. Now, they did have great attendance for their off-season program.
Yeah.
But they're in Jacksonville, they're in Florida, and they have a young team. So this is really the only place that I think that this would potentially work is there. But, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very steep learning curve for him. And the amount of – I mean, I explained – I don't even know how much our fans realize how little, like, for example, our guys are here in the off-season. I mean, how many days has Baker been here since the season ended? In the facility. Less than 10?
Single digits.
Yeah, less than 10. And that's not abnormal. I mean, that would be the same for most around the league. I'm guessing Russell Wilson isn't all over the Seattle facility.
It would be abnormal.
Unless you live in the town.
Pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, you'd have 10 OTA. Pre-COVID, you'd have been here for a good 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think all that was virtual.
Right.
Yeah. Pre-COVID, you'd have been here at least 6 weeks. But, down to 6 days, perhaps. Let me ask you this, because this is something I'm curious about. And this is how I felt, and if Buckeye people are going to get mad, I apologize. But this is how I felt watching a lot of that era with the Ohio State Buckeyes. They were flat out better from a talent standpoint. There obviously is great coaching and position development that happened with that program. Probably the best. I mean, just look at their NFL resume. It speaks for itself.
Their NFL,
I always felt like in-game, though, the in-game portion of those teams, not in terms of execution, in terms of adjustments on the fly, strategy, things like that, were not at the same level as the recruiting, the talent, and the individual development. And I think the NFL game is as critical as anything. The game planning itself, because everybody's so good, is as important as anything. And I think we know that as Browns fans very well.
I think that your statement is accurate for the second half of his tenure at Ohio State.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's accurate for the first part of his tenure at Ohio State because he had really good coordinators the first time. Now, remember, he is an innovator of the spread.
Of course.
It was, and Gibby can talk about this at BG.
Yep.
He brought the spread at Utah. He brought the spread to the Southeastern Conference. Like, he's an innovator of that. But as he got older in his career, he stepped away from, much like Bowden did, honestly, stepped away from that side of it, and he is what he is now is a culture setter.
Yes.
So when we talk about success or failure for him there, it really will come down to, did he hire the right coordinators? Are those the right guys? Because he's going to lean on them. And what will really be a problem is if he doesn't trust them, because that's what happened at the second part of his Ohio State career, especially before they hired Ryan Day as offensive coordinator. He didn't trust the offensive staff. And then it gets sideways. Then you get the 2015 season. Then you get, I don't know who we're going to give everybody's going to play quarterback. And somehow we're going to play Michigan State at home with their backup quarterback in snowing, raining sideways, and Zeke's going to get 6 touches.
Yeah.
So that's how that happens. But but to answer your original question, absolutely I believe that he had – I don't think he had any awareness of how it worked.
It's gonna be fascinating, and they have good talent. I like their talent. I think they're a fun team.
They do
on offense for sure.
Yeah, they very well could. All right, we'll go around the league. We got number 5, our 10 big questions heading into training camp. A little Ask CBD in the second hour as well. Have a little fun with you on a Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Beau Bishop here for my great friends at Northeast Factory Direct. And summer should be spent outside, especially when it doesn't rain. Grilling on that patio, sitting around the fire, nice summer evening, putting your feet up, just enjoying the outdoors instead of sitting on those beat-up folding chairs. How about real patio furniture is going to last you for years? Northeast Factory Direct has outdoor sectionals, dining sets, fire pits, loungers. They got it all. Right now, stop in, take one of their 3 stores in Cleveland, Euclid, and Macedonia, and if you take your photo with Flat Alex, you get a chance to win a $500 gift card. It's as simple as that. Just take Northeast Factory Direct on Facebook or Instagram to be entered in the drawing. Each store is stocked with the best deals on outdoor furniture, so that's a win-win. Stop in, check it out for yourself. You won't be disappointed in the quality of the selection. Shop online at northeastfactorydirect.com. Go ahead.
I'm intrigued. Flat Alex. I like every time you do that, Reed. I've been wanting to tell me. Do you know?
I love it.
Flat Alex. I want to see it. Somebody send us a picture of themselves with Flat Alex on Twitter. I just want to know what a Flat Alex is.
Well, I told you we have Flat Paxton. Bootsy's real name is Paxton. He made me a Flat Paxton. I've shown you that before, right? That I have in the office here.
So just like
so I wouldn't get lonely.
Yeah. So like a
Hold
cardboard
on.
cut
I'll
up,
grab it.
like a cardboard stand up, is a flat. I have a flat Miz in my house. He hangs out in the basement. He's quite flat, and he has one of those. You know when they can get that angle just right that where no matter where you walk, it looks like it's still looking at you. Oh yeah.
Like it.
Oh, wow. That's a real treat.
Yeah, and then he's got one on a stick, too, that he gave me. You got another Flat Paxton.
Oh, like you should bring him in when we get back in the studio together, like the Big B's. We could have it's a Flat Pax moment, yeah.
Flat Bootsy.
Flat
bold.
Bootsy
for you, yeah.
That's right.
The first one who did it was, the first person I remember with the flat was Flat Ronnie on Stern. Remember they would have Flat Ronnie around.
The limo driver?
Which was just comedy. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, very good. Very, very
enjoys
good.
Mother's Day,
so,
that guy.
yeah, well, yeah, do that. I look forward to seeing Flat Alex. It'd be very good. As we go around the league, 13 teams with at least 85% of their players vaccinated. Overall, 73.8% of NFL players have at least one shot of the vaccine. Per the AP, Pittsburgh, Miami, Carolina, and Denver have the highest percentage. The 2 lowest are Indy and Washington with under 50%. So that's where we're on that. That is important for a couple of things. Number one, you've seen the mask mandate that's gone back up in Los Angeles County. That's gone back up. You saw Bradley Beal is off Team USA for a positive with COVID-19, so he's out of Team USA. Team USA right now is 6 players. Well, I think they added like JaVale McGee and somebody else. Like Team USA has nobody, and 4 of our guys are playing in the finals. So I don't even know if we have a team. Their game with Australia is canceled. The Yankees game with the Red Sox postponed. 6 Yankee players tested positive. The tricky part here is, as our friend Rich Eisen, friend of the program,
yes. Mm-hmm.
double vaxxed and positive with symptoms. What are we going to do here? We know what the NFL did last year.
Sure.
When we knew less. So I think we know what the NFL is going to do. But I feel like it's about to get real again. I wouldn't make bold proclamations.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping
I hope not too, but it seems like it's trending that way. I mean, if you are for example, if you're the Rams, you're the Chargers, and LA County has ordered that.
Yeah, that'd be
masks are different than no one going. I mean, that's different. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we'll see. 13 teams. Hopefully the Browns are one of those 13. It's weird that you only get to know 4 of the 13. Is that right?
Well, those are the highest percentage.
Right, but did they give the full list of the 13 teams or
no? This was the AP had got someone to talk within the league that gave them those teams.
Gave them 4 and the 4 best and the 2 worst.
Yeah,
gotcha.
They got someone to talk there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
DeChambeau +1 to finish out the day. That's not making the cut, I don't think.
No.
Did you see his mea culpa? He apologized to the Cobra people.
Yeah, probably should have. If you start trash-talking their gear.
He was trash-talking his own equipment?
Yeah.
Of which they pay you to use.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, do you remember when Tiger first started playing Nike? And he had a few issues with that equipment. They don't even make it anymore. How about that?
No. Those victory irons and all that.
Irons, balls, drivers, they had it all. They were a full-on golf company.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Not anymore.
I just remember he did he always used the Cameron putters. Like he would use much of the other Nike stuff, but he would always use the Cameron putters. The line from the rep was great. He said, look, he's a perfectionist. Golf's an imperfect sport, so this is always going to be a struggle for him. He goes, he's hitting whatever the flex was, and he said he's hitting a 5-degree driver. So when you talk about forgiveness, that ain't going to line up.
It's not there. No. It's 5 degrees.
Right.
It's like hitting a razor. Yeah, it's
right.
It's nuts. I mean, John Daly, I remember at the peak of his powers with those Wilson, the whales and all of that, he was hitting like, I think, a 6 or a 7. But, yeah, you don't have as much forgiveness. You had a 10-degree driver, tee it high, let it fly. You have a lot more forgiveness than you do at 5 degrees. But he needs it for the spin because he's too spinny, too much spin rate, just crushing it. He's crushing it. By the way, this next point.
Well, you saw it in the match. Like, he gets in his own head.
Totally. Just play, brother. Just have some fun again. Go do your scientific. That's the thing. Golf is too hard of a game to just be purely scientific about it all the time. You've got to be
right
on some level. Oh, my goodness. I just saw the most ridiculous chip ever. A guy ran it by the hole 40 feet up a hill, and then it rolled right back down the hill, Harmon, to a tap-in. Incredible thing there. But, yeah, golf's a game you got to have some.
Who's tasing up 3, by the way?
Up 3.
By the way, DeChambeau's got 2 holes left. Watching golf NBC, they made it sound like he was done. I'm like, wait a minute. He's playing with Spieth, and Spieth's going to 17.
Oosthuizen's last 3 holes.
Louis at 12 now.
Yeah, last 3 holes. Birdie, eagle. 12. So he's up 3 over Morikawa, 4 over Spieth, 6 over Van Tonder, Griot, and CM, our guy, Marcel.
Did you hear what Koepka said at the Golf Channel when he finished his round of 66?
I did not.
Love my driver.
He's a hero to the people.
God,
he embraces the villain unlike anybody else.
So great.
God, he's good. I'll tell you what, right now, Oosthuizen's look like a guy who was one bad tee shot on 17 at Torrey Pines away from being winning that one, and he's playing pretty darn good golf right now, is what we're saying there. By the way, this next around the next around the league bullet here. Do you have something you want to go on that before?
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, that's what I want. That's where I wanted to go next.
Is just
how does it get out?
Okay. I'm not surprised it got out. I'm not surprised it didn't come out in the locker room after they had won. Like, I'm so awesome. I did this with torn MCL. Now, did he appear to be a guy with a torn MCL boating around, throwing the trophy? MCL affects, and I know this from not personal experience, thank goodness, knock on wood, but my good buddy and friend of the show and Cleveland's own champion, The Miz, is battling an MCL injury right now. And it's lateral stability. You have none, basically.
Yeah.
Your knee feels like it is on jello. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't recall Tom Brady, when he was sideways throwing the Lombardi, wearing any kind of knee brace, or when he was stumbling around with his backup quarterback.
No.
I didn't see any knee brace to promote lateral stability there. So much, if not most, if not all, I don't know. I just think that's something that should have come out right in the locker room.
Is there any part of you that goes, is there any part of you that goes, boy, he played terrible in that match, took some criticism for the way he played?
No, I mean, he had surgery
lighthearted,
in
but
February.
he's so prideful.
Yeah, he did have surgery, yeah.
Right, but is he all the way back?
You should be. From an MCL
Like,
surgery,
why put this
you
out?
should be.
To add to his lore.
Do you
what
guys,
do you mean?
Do you guys think
he's feeling the
is,
heat from Joe Montana, brother?
Do you guys, well.
He's never lost a Super Bowl.
But could they get heat? There are injury reports.
Oh.
For a reason.
We'd have to go back and look at if you were on them at all. Like, it could have just, all it would say is Tom Brady knee. Questionable, or, because all they say now is questionable or not, or out. That's it.
But it would need to, right? You couldn't deceive.
No. They could get in trouble for that. If he was not on any injury reports, then yes.
He supposedly did this in his last season with New England.
Well, Yeah, I'd be curious what those injury reports say. Like if they don't show him as injured.
I don't know.
I think it should have come out in the locker room. It reminds me of when Kurt Angle used to brag that he won the Olympics with a broken frickin' neck. I just won my 7th Super Bowl, new team with a torn MCL. You're perfectly healthy.
Torn
you guys,
MCL.
hop tooey. Yeah. Tom Brady, number 1. Everybody else,
I don't know.
tooey.
Yeah, I'll be very curious to see on the. I think the injury report thing could be fascinating to see if he was never on one. All right, coming up next, number 5 on our 10 biggest questions leading into the start of training camp. That is coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Obsessing over something like football can be a problem. If you're obsessing over gambling, it can be dangerous. Do something to take your mind off it. If you want some tips, go to keepitfunohio.com for great ways to keep gambling fun. It is question number 5, our 10 biggest questions leading up to the start of training camp and the season. Today's question, outside of Baker Mayfield, who will benefit the most from the offense's continuity? Well, this is interesting.
I like this one. I thought this was an interesting one, and I tried to take a unique approach. So I'll let you.
I would say that the person who will benefit most is Kevin Stefanski.
Stop it. Get right out of town.
Come on.
Outside of Baker, who everyone, from the coaches to the players, the fans, everyone will benefit from the Browns running it back on offense. But if I have to single out one person, I will choose the head coach and play caller, Kevin Stefanski.
Come on.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, now that they're out of their cars and their helmets are off,
Let us
Let
hear
him
ya.
hear you.
Let us hear you.
Wow. Holy cow.
How about that?
I guess no one else is. I guess you can't spike the ball for yourself. You got to do that sometimes.
Hashtag Albright.
No, it's the right answer. It's the right answer.
I think it is. Here's what I went on to say. It said, despite winning the NFL's Coach of the Year honor in 2020, Stefanski immediately noted that if you stay the same, you're getting worse. With a full year of knowledge about his personnel and the findings of his thorough postseason scheme evaluation, I fully expect the Browns to be even more dynamic and productive on offense this season. We will get to see the evolution of the Cleveland Browns offense because as the play caller and architect, he can hit the ground sprinting with his returning players and coaching staff. It must also be pointed out this offense is very much a collaboration of an incredible group of coaches on the offensive side of the ball, 4 of whom, including Stefanski, have been play callers in the NFL themselves, and that entire staff is back. That's why I'm expecting some new wrinkles, whether that be more up-tempo, no-huddle drives, more schemed-up chunk plays, or an increased emphasis on the screen game to really catapult the Browns' offense to the elite in the NFL. You know our head coach and his staff will put in the work to put our team in the best position to succeed every time they take the field, and the continuity will only enhance his ability to do that at the highest of levels.
Well said. Well said out of you. I think for all of those reasons, the one thing I would add to it is it very likely will be the only time that is the case.
That's right.
This may be his only time as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I think it's almost assured that this will be the only time with him being the head coach of the Cleveland Browns or wherever his career takes him, hopefully here forever, where he will run it back completely after the type of success he had the previous year. That will never happen again. Coaches, too deep, everywhere, quarterback, this team is going to look a lot different next year offensively than it does this year when you talk about the offseason of 2022. So this is almost a one-of-one shot to take what you built last year, don't have to worry about a second of install, and just add the layers. Add layers. So, I mean, that's not lost on him. It's not lost on him. He can the stuff that he's going to be able to do over training camp, that he's going to be able to put in for this offense.
Yeah.
I just think it's so exciting. It's so exciting. He is the answer. If you wanted to go, if you were going to limit it to a player that would benefit most, probably the guy. I liked your call yesterday with Chief. I think Chief could have a big year, and it's hard to say that he could be any better than he's already been. I do kind of have a hunch that Nick Chubb could run for 1,800 yards, though.
He could. I think, it's just going to be a matter of touches. I think this offense is going to be great. I think
Right.
It's built for him. It's going to be a matter of touches. The guy that I was going to say would be Jedrick Wills. Jedrick Wills,
sure.
Same coaching staff, same players next to him, same quarterback cadence, same offensive scheme that will allow him to really develop. I mean, he didn't even have that offseason last year to transition from right tackle to left tackle and still played pretty darn well.
Do you remember in camp, the first I was legitimately worried.
Yeah, I do.
Going, oh boy, we could have a little issue here. But what was cool about Callahan, about Jed, about Stefanski, everybody involved in those decisions was there was never even a hint of panic. Well, because they don't panic about anything. They're just chill about everything. But, like, there was never even any sort of, like, oh, boy, I don't know if he's going to get there. It was like, no, he'll get there. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
And he was. And he was more than fine.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest testament to Jed is that you could go back and watch those games last year, and there's not a single time where I thought, rookie left tackle. I can't recall one.
No, in fact, at Pro Football Focus in pass blocking, which was probably the biggest concern, I think that, he will improve year 2 in every facet, but probably run blocking he really will, is that he was still there, I think, number 17 graded offensive tackle in the league. And you think about 32 teams, 64 starting tackles. He's in the top, right on the cusp of the top quartile as a pass blocker as a rookie, the first time he's ever played on that side of the quarterback. That bodes very, very well. Very well.
Yeah, it does. So when you think about, and we've talked about this before as we talk about who's going to benefit, and, okay, it is coach, and we talked about tempo. What else do you think and I'm asking you to get inside his mind a little bit, what do you think that that we didn't do last year that he could add, hypothetically? What are some things you go, okay, here's some things we didn't do that much of, but with a full offseason without having to start over with an install, here are some things we could do.
One, and you've hit on this from running this team in Madden, up tempo. Just try to increase our number of plays on offense. But as we know, there's a limit to that, right? You know, we could go from 62 to 68, which is a 10% increase.
Yep.
But that's one thing. Number two, I believe with Anthony Schwartz in the mix and the speed that he has, you're going to see much more in the jet game. We really didn't do much of that at all. More jet motion.
Right.
More actually handing it off on some of the jet motions, and more using his speed to create voids for others in chunk plays. You'll take a couple shots to him on some of those nines, but a 9 or a deep over, and then you're able to kind of come underneath that with big space like you saw the Kansas City Chiefs enjoy against our defense a year ago. So I think those are a couple of things I would add. You want to get the ball in the hands of your running backs. And I think we saw it as the season went on. You think about the critical third down call against Jacksonville. You think about the call that led to the 40-yard touchdown to ice the game against the Steelers. Screens. In Minnesota with Dalvin Cook, they were a great screen team. We didn't screen as much, and that's something, I mean, he said as much that he wants to incorporate more into this offense. And I wonder if we'll even use some wide receiver screens. That is not something they like to do. But I wonder if they'll look at certain personnel groupings and packages and say, okay, there's a chance to run some more wide receiver screens. Just get the ball out quick outside, put it in the hands of Schwartz, for example, here and there, and let him run. I mean, the guy is dynamic with the ball in his hands as well.
Odell, too, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Because that's something that we didn't have. After the Cincinnati game, we didn't have that option. So when you start talking about those wrinkles – and I think we all know, you know, the two backs are who they are, and they're going to be great. But you're now talking about a full season, you know, God willing, with a healthy Odell Beckham Jr.
Yep.
You're talking about the Schwartz wrinkle added in. As you said yesterday, David Njoku, and what he gave you towards the end of last year, there's a lot of building blocks there that you can build off of. But mostly, he spent, I mean, really all the way to the bye week before I think Baker was really comfortable completely in the offense, where he wasn't thinking. I mean, we would go through that film early in the season last year and go, boy, he's not playing quarterback. He's thinking his way through the position. And you can't do it that way. It's just got to be second nature. The Baker that we saw in 3 days of mandatory minicamp and the Baker that I think you're going to see this season is one that's just going to play.
Yep.
It's a one who, through the second half of last season, I think week 7 on, was the 4th rated quarterback in the NFL. Like, that's what I think you'll see from the beginning. And now you're going to have the two of them walking down that path hand in hand.
That's right. The knowledge is power.
Before it was, this is the offense, you got to learn it. Now it's, here's the offense. Let's build this thing together.
Here's what we know you like, what you excel with. These are the looks that you excel with. I think we can go empty a ton. We did that, I thought, over the second half a lot more. And then, listen, just take what let the scheme and their response to it are going to dictate where the football goes. Just play. But, right, it's that collaboration. And I don't think it's a coincidence that in a season where you had no off season to really prepare and to work together, that it wasn't until the bye week and that scheme of Al being able to sit down, take that week together. Okay, here, what do you love? Let's do this. That this offense really started to take off, because that's when it did.
Yeah. It clicked at that point, and it opened everything up, and now you can start there, and you've got all of this time in camp to do it. So it's that part's going to be special. And again, just to reiterate, folks, drink this up, because these circumstances that we're in offensively this year, we're going to be good this year, and people are going to hire some of our people.
Yep.
And we're going to lose some guys in free agency, contracts. We got a lot of people we got to pay. There's a salary cap. Can't keep people forever. We know that. This circumstance that we're in is rare in this league. It is very, very rare, and you have to take advantage of it when you're there. And right now we are. I look forward to it. I can't imagine what we'll see over the course of this season with this offense. And even week 1 against Kansas City, to just start with everything. We're going to be ahead of them. I mean, they got new starters on their offensive line they got to work in. Not to say that we're going to be a better offense than them, but they have guys who got to learn. We don't have any of that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is. I don't think. I mean, the Bucs are the only other team that are pretty much doing this.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So there are two teams. We are, I guess, in a case, we're 2 of 2, and that's it. Nobody else has the continuity that we do and the Bucs do on the offensive side of the ball. Nobody.
No, not at all. Going to be fun. It starts 2 weeks from today with the start of camp. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, we take a look at some offensive line rankings and a birthday for an all-time great. And I'm wondering if the kids are even aware of how great he was. We get to that. And a little Ask CBD as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. If your game plan for the season includes buying or selling a home, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services has you covered. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. We'll get to our rankings in a second. Today is Barry Sanders' birthday. I saw that on the Lions tweeting that out, which is a good job out of them. And I'm wondering if you didn't see, is not seeing Barry Sanders play in person similar to a previous generation having not seeing Jim Brown in person or not? Because Barry, I do feel like Jim gets kind of that universal acclaim as one of the greatest players of all time, and it's kind of like understood. I don't know if a younger generation is as aware of Barry Sanders as they should be.
I don't think they are at all. Not at all. Barry Sanders was, he was a video game. He was an absolute video game. I mean,
on bad teams,
on horrible.
And just stopped at age 30. Just shut it down.
So I'm good. No, his ability to make, not even something, to make a ton out of nothing, and to have to do that repeatedly throughout his career was. Anytime he touched the ball, something incredible could happen, and I think there aren't that many people that you would say that about that I've seen. I mean, he was different in that regard. Anytime he touched the ball, something insane could happen. Led the league in rushing 4 times.
I'm going to give you something. I want to do something for you because I don't know if people understand this. So he quit at age 30. This is his last 3 years.
Yeah, do that. Yep, love it.
1553, 5 yards a carry.
Led the league.
2053. Yeah.
Led the league.
6 yards a carry. Yep. And then his last year was 1491, 4.3 a carry. 5 yards a carry for his career.
That's right. Led the league in 3 of his last 5 years rushing. Led the league total 4 times rushing, but led the league in 3 of his last 5 years and hung it up. He did not in the final 5 years of his career. 1883, 1500 to 1553, he said 2053, 1491. So just doing some ballpark there is 1500 as a base. Adding 700 over. I mean, this guy averaged over 100 yards a game rushing the final 5 years he was in the league.
Jeez. 128.3 his second to last year in the league. 128 yards a game.
That's right.
Jeez. And responsible for probably the greatest collegiate rushing, well, not probably, without question, the greatest collegiate rushing season of all time. He ran for 2,600 yards, 7 yards a carry. His junior year at Oklahoma State, and he backed up Thurman Thomas before that. That's the only reason he wasn't on the field till his junior year.
He's kind of, honest to goodness, like our guy, the Hoff. 10 straight Pro Bowls in a 10-year career, 6-time first-team All-Pro, just like the Hoff. The Hoff had the 1 year.
Oh, that's true.
The Hoff had the 1 year where he got hurt, unfortunately, obviously in 17, that ended his streak. But the Hoff's first 10 years in the league, 10 straight Pro Bowls, 6 first-team All-Pros. Barry Sanders' career was only 10 years, 10 straight Pro Bowls, 6 first-team All-Pro.
Man. Yeah, he was unbelievable. He was absolutely unbelievable. And he was and they've had this with Calvin Johnson too. Just shut it down.
Shut it down.
I'm good.
Truly elite. Truly elite players, both of them. So gifted. It's kind of amazing. Yeah, both Hall of Famers.
Yep.
And,
there was this feeling at that time for people our age where the conversation was like him or Emmett. And it was always it always bothered me because I don't know how you could explain the two. And I respect the heck out of Emmitt Smith. I mean, he was the bell cow for some really, really good teams. But he was not asked to do – he played behind the best offensive line maybe in the history of football. We'll get to offensive line conversation in a second in terms of where ours ranked. He played with a Hall of Fame quarterback. He played with a Hall of Fame receiver. Alvin Harper was no slouch, and neither was Jay Novacek. He played with Moose Johnston blocking for him. Barry Sanders played in the run and shoot for much of his career. with Wayne Fonts. His quarterbacks were Rodney Peete and who was the guy that Eric Kramer?
Scott Mitchell? Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's who the guy. Now they had Herman Moore, but like they had nothing. Nothing.
He played Barry Sanders.
No, he was
incredibly made it to playoffs in 5 of his 10 years. I would not have had that.
No, I wouldn't have either.
I
remember they made that NFC Championship game and just got obliterated. I want to say I think Washington whipped them
41-10 and 91. Yep, which would have been
to Washington.
Yep. And then they made it to the playoffs and lost 5 straight games after that, or 4 more. The next 4 times were just one and dones. Green Bay twice, Philly, Tampa in 93, 94, 95, 97. So that's pretty – so 91 was the first year that he made the playoffs. And I'm trying to look if that was his – so third year in the league, 5th year, 6th year, 7th year, and then 9th year in the league. They made the playoffs all of those years. I wouldn't have had them go in the playoffs 1 out of every 2 seasons he was there. I thought maybe he was going to be lucky to appear in 1 playoff game. Calvin Johnson only 2 playoff games in his time with the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would not have had that often as well. I do – now that we're talking about it, I do remember them having the success with Rodney Peete and Eric Kramer in the early 90s. I remember that, and as I mentioned, the NFC Championship, but I did not realize – I didn't know they made it – that must have been with Scott Mitchell right?
Yeah.
Had to have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not have had that. All right, we have ranked we haven't. We've responded to the rankings of others, position groups over the course of this week, and then we've reflected upon those. So today we do offensive line. Our guys at Pro Football Focus with the 32 best centers, courtesy of Ben Lindsay. J.C. Treader, number 4. This is probably the first time that I've seen J.C. get the proper respect, and it's probably no surprise that it comes from PFF.
Right.
But he is so often slept on as a player and how good he is, and PFF gets him at number 4 in the NFL, and that's about right.
It's exactly right. And you could make the case that he should be higher because of what he did. Number 1 pass blocking center a year ago at Pro Football Focus. Just a consummate professional, led the team in snaps on the defensive side of the ball. He was there week in, week out. Pass blocking grade above 80 or 80.0 in 6 consecutive seasons. Had the highest run blocking grade of his career at the Browns this past season. He was the 2nd highest graded center at Pro Football Focus. I kind of think he should be 2nd. He's only behind Corey Linsley in their rankings.
Yeah. I'm just used to him being disrespected. So it's good to see him actually getting some praise.
And he's ahead of Jason Kelce.
Fair respect. Boy, that was an alarming one.
So I took my theory that I shared with you home with me last night, and we had a discussion around the dinner table, and people thought that must be the only – that's the only thing that they think is feasible. That amongst the family –
there's nothing else makes sense.
They've always called themselves Kelce, but it truly actually is Kels, but that is just known amongst the Kels boys just like it's only known amongst the Zegura boys, and now all of you.
The Zegura boys, yeah, that's right. That's the only way.
Yeah, Gibby missed that yesterday.
Sam Monson – Gibby missed that. Do you realize his last name is Zegura? Gibby?
Wait, who?
Me.
Yeah, you're talking to Nathan Zegura.
That's right, Nathan Dragomir Zegura. Yes, the Zegura boys. So
since when?
Exactly. So this all comes from. Did you see the thing with Travis Kelce?
I believe I had it in the rundown for you yesterday.
That's
along with the soundbite,
which spawned this whole conversation.
We didn't know you were distracted.
This spawned the whole
conversation. You also,
Gibby,
to be fair, had the wrong links on the position rankings. So
that's right. We were still all on all the links were still wide receiver links.
Oh, they were?
That's right.
Well.
Little cut and paste there. No big deal.
My bad.
But what we were saying was that's what spawned this conversation is that you were just as shocked because I am Nathan Zegura. That is how I pronounce my name. That's how everybody pronounced it. And, and the Kelces have been the Kelces as long as anybody knows. But he said it's actually Kels.
Yes.
And so I thought maybe this is like in mine when I'm with, my Zago or may you rest in peace and my father and my cousin Danny. Our last name is properly pronounced Zegura in Croatia. That's how it would. So we call ourselves the Zegura boys when we're together. But to the world, I am still Nathan Zegura, and that is absolutely the right way to say my last name. So I was thinking that maybe it was that's the only way I could think of this situation coming about.
That's the logical.
Yeah.
We also, Gibbe, said that that it would take Jim Donovan one time. Like if we said all of a sudden he was going to be Nathan Zegura, then it would take Jim Donovan one time, and then he would pronounce it perfectly forever.
That's right.
Correct.
You tell him once, and he would pronounce it perfectly forever. You'd tell him you wouldn't have to explain it. You just say, "Listen, he's no longer Nathan Zegura. He's Nathan Zegura." One time, Donovan nails it, and then forever nails it.
Correct.
Yeah.
You would be 100%.
Hundo P.
That's right.
That's right. Nathan Dragomir.
That's how he rolls.
Zegura. Let's go.
Yeah, he will have all 2 weeks from today. I'm fairly confident he will probably have 75 to 80 of the 90 players memorized.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna say.
I think he's got a photographic memory.
I mean, there's a couple that he will say there'll be a number or something that's just thrown in for a little wrinkle, but by the first preseason game, it'll not even the first preseason game. He'll have it all ready to go.
Yeah,
that's right.
Oh, yeah. You're safe, pal. Yeah. All right. Sam Monson ranked the guards. He's got Joel 4, Wyatt 9. Wasn't Wyatt like the number 2 rated player in the NFL last year to Donald, according to PFF?
Yes, and I think they're saying, look, we've seen it. It was a breakout season. He had the one of the best run blocking numbers they've ever seen. Breakout year. Let's see it again, and then maybe you can move up. Maybe you move up there. Joel is just so solid, and it's a good list. Quentin Nelson, Zach Martin, Joe Thuney, Batonio. PFF pass blocking grades above 80 for 5 straight seasons, 85 or more in 17, 18, 19, and 20. He gave up a sack in the Week 1 game against Baltimore and then didn't allow another one the rest of the season.
Jeez.
I think he should be number 3.
Pretty good.
At least. I think he should be ahead of Thuney because they start with Thuney not coming off his best season. Okay. Joel's pretty good.
Yeah. And Anthony Trish has Conklin number 12 at tackle. He was second team All-Pro?
First team.
Jack?
He was first team All-Pro.
Oh, first team All-Pro. Jeez.
Yeah.
And the embarrassment of riches we have.
Yeah. It's not bad.
That's crazy.
Not bad. All
No.
back. All working together again with Bill Callahan.
And understudies being groomed, waiting in the wings. Seth Walder, who we've had on this program before, projecting the NFL's best and worst protecting offensive lines, ranking pass block rate wins for 2021, and we are number 1. Yeah. Yes.
We're good.
It's the best offensive line in football. We're good. Get used to it.
We're good.
I had my buddy DK over last night. He and I were talking about some things, and he was talking about how his son-in-law listens to the show, and he gets so excited about things. And I said, usually when I talk to, Browns fans of a certain age, they're like, just don't. No, that's too much. And he went the opposite. He's like, give me all of it. I want all of it.
Shower me
and I
with
thought,
the
good
excitement.
for you, DK.
Yes.
Shower me. Bathe in the excitement of it all.
Yeah.
A million things can happen, but bathe in the excitement of it all. All right, good stuff there out of those guys. Get your questions in for us. The Ask CBD mailbag is open. Gibby will administer that in about 15 minutes from now. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily. Beau Bishop here for my friends at EOX Vantage. EOX Vantage connects core systems that don't talk. It's that simple. From reporting and analytics to insight and decision-making, gain a more complete real-time picture of your business. Eliminate Excel nightmares for business processes and visualize your important data all in one place. Gain real-time insight to make data-driven decisions on performance through role-based visualization dashboards. With EOX Vantage, you can benefit from lower overall costs, better alignment between technology and specific business needs, scalability, ease of deployment, and management. EOX Vantage makes your data work smarter to move your business forward. You're about growth. Your software should be too with EOX Vantage. It can be. Your company will scale effortlessly. Local presence with global footprint, trusted by some of the world's biggest brands. And boy, did they get a day across the pond. I mean, it's stunning.
It's gorgeous.
Every once in a while on a Sunday in the Open, you get one of these. Like on a Sunday, it feels like it can be nice sometimes over there in the Open. But these early days are usually just a debacle. They have had no wind, Bluebird Day, no rain, guys in polos. We're not even wearing quarter zips at the Open anymore.
No, it's a beaut. It's an absolute beaut. It's a real treat. It's great. And you got a great leaderboard.
Oosthuizen up 2 shots on Morikawa, Spieth.
Yep. Yeah, and Dustin DJ's lurking. He just felled it back to 6, but he's lurking. I mean, yeah, it's all you want. This is a good leaderboard.
The cool thing about this, and again, you and I talk about this a lot, but one thing I really like about this is you have no idea what the next 2 days are going to be weather-wise.
No. Listen,
so tomorrow could be survival. You could have to shoot 75. You shoot 64 today, 75 tomorrow might be all you need.
When I played my couple rounds across the pond, we played St. Andrews on 2 days. And on one day, the conditions were very benign from a wind standpoint. And on one day, it was insane with the wind. And I shot the same score, and I played 100 times better the day in the wind than I did the day with no wind. It's that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, felt like I didn't miss a shot and still shot the same number I did on the ideal day when I felt like I had, a B game. It's everything over there.
Yeah.
The wind
St.
is
Andrews,
everything.
is there just the one course there?
No. There's St. Andrews. There's the old course, which is the famous one, obviously. Then there's the Jubilee. There's the new course. There's just golf it's everywhere you look, it's golf.
Sure.
All of those courses, for example, over there.
Are the others? Yeah.
Like Turnberry, Royal Troon, all the ones that I play that have the course, and then they all have a second course on property. That's really good, but not as great. And
they're all public? You can play all of them?
Yeah. I mean, it's just part of, it's through golf packages or whatever. Yeah, you can get on all of them. St. Andrews is the one you can only get on the old course. It's the lottery. And we were lucky enough. That was one where I had birdied 18 the first time I played it and had a nice round. And I was like, I don't want to go back. Like, I want that to be my last memory, that I birdied the last hole that I ever played at St. Andrews, and we won the lottery. And we went back and forth. And my cousin's like, we're here, and we won the lottery. We're playing St. Andrews again. Like, get over it. And so I birdied 17 and 18 the second time, back to back. So road hole and then 18.
Good job out of you.
And then now I don't need to go back.
So did both times, did you win a lottery both times to play, or was one time guaranteed you'd play? I guess what I'm asking is, did you go over there without knowing for sure you'd play St. Andrews?
I want to say we had one that we knew for sure we were playing the old course, but we also, you have, like I said, there's the Jubilee and the new course. You knew you're playing golf.
Right.
I don't recall if I knew for sure we were playing the old course. I want to say yes once, but the second time was definitely luck.
Okay, that's what I was curious about, because, if you're going over there, that's the one you want to play.
Of course.
You don't make that trip unless you know you're going to play that one. I'm sure the rest of them are great. They're all great, but if you don't play St. Andrews, it's like going to Monterey Peninsula and saying, well, you can play everything but Pebble.
Right.
It's like, well, wait a second.
I want to play
Pebble. They're all great. Like Cypress, many people think is even better and more prestigious, but if you're not going to play Pebble, then what are you doing?
Let me ask you this, as a man who enjoys a great deal of fine things. How big of a flex is just go into a happy hour out and about in town wearing a cypress hat? I felt like that was pretty big.
Yeah, I would say that would be what is their logo? Does their logo say it on it?
It said it's obviously the tree. And then
okay, so what would be even more of a flex is so they have that tree and then it says Cypress Point Club. What would be an incredible flex if it was just the tree. And it was almost like if you know, and if you don't need to.
Yeah, it did say Cypress Point Club on it under the tree. But I think that is the standard logo on the gear, because even when I Googled
it looks
that,
like it. It looks like
it says on the hat. It says it on all of them. I mean, but I was like, whoa, I haven't even seen that before. And that was
who did this?
We were out at a spot in Chagrin Falls, and a guy rolled in, looked like he had come right off the golf course. One of the guys that he was saying hello to had been dubbed Mr. Belvedere by one of the people in our group because he looked just like Mr. Belvedere. So I think these were some quite well-to-do folks. And he just...
So you witnessed this?
Yeah, I saw it. And I said, I tried to put into perspective to the non-golfers. I was like, that's a pretty big flex in the golf world to just be like, yeah, I'm not... Here's my Cypress hat that I'm wearing in your face.
And probably, it's Cypress, Pine Valley, Augusta, because people can get on that. Because they host the Masters, you can get the gear.
Right. So that's not as big. That doesn't mean anything, per se. It doesn't. It
means a lot, but it's not like you played it.
You
can buy the gear without playing it.
Right.
Right. It's not a guarantee of play.
Like the Venn diagram of people who have played Cypress. Like if you're wearing Cypress gear, I'm assuming you have played there or you're a member there. One of the two, which is to me puts you in a very elite level. Everybody's got some Masters gear, and I don't know many people who have played Augusta.
Well, true. Yes, because you can get it. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. I mean, that's a big one.
I was like, okay.
That's big.
Like I couldn't think. To me, the only two that I could think of were Cypress and Pine Valley. That was it. That would be on that.
Yeah, Seminole's
level.
got a little of that too. Like you can't get on Seminole, but I mean, since we've seen Seminole, I don't know that it has the same juice.
But Seminole has also hosted. Has it host any events? Because I've seen people in Seminole hats quite a bit.
Yeah, I've never seen one in one, and I was even in Florida for a while. I've never seen a Seminole hat. Cypress used to be a part of the AT&T, the Pebble Beach. Like
right.
used to, 20-some years ago, it was a part of that, and then their membership came into question, and so they wouldn't let them be a part of it anymore. But it used to be.
It was
used to
Pebble,
be a part of that.
Cypress, Spyglass, and Spanish Bay. Poppy Hills used to be in it too, though. Poppy Hills was in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Cypress was in it, and then they pulled them out because their membership came into question in terms of the lack of inclusion to their membership. So, yeah, that's it. No, it's a short list. That's a sizable flex. We'll do a little sizable flex coming up next. We'll hit you with a little mailbag, a little Ask CBD. Gibbe is here to MC. We'll end the week with a little bit of pure joy for the kids. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. It's summertime and time to open your windows. Let that fresh air in. Your windows won't open? Well, you're in luck. The buy one, get one is back at Weather Seal. Buy one Ultra Seal window, get one Ultra Seal window free. Buy 5, get 5 free. There's no minimum or maximum, so replace all your problem windows at once. Weather Seal's Ultra Series windows are strong, durable, beautiful, easy to clean, and easy to open. For the lowest monthly payments, ask about Weather Seal's exclusive 7-year, 0-interest financing with approved credit. Weather Seal, locally owned and a name you can trust. Call 877-WINDOWS or visit WeatherSealHomeservices.com. Time for a little Ask CBD. Before we get to that, though, Z, you were saying there's a statement from Richard Sherman, who's it's been a tough week for him, obviously.
It has, and Richard Sherman releasing a statement at 2:28 today, and he says, I am, quote, deeply remorseful for my actions on Tuesday night. I behaved in a manner I am not proud of. I've been dealing with some personal challenges over the last several months, but that is not an excuse for how I acted. The importance of mental and emotional health is extremely real, and I vow to get the help I need. I appreciate all of the people who have reached out in support of me and my family, including our community here in Seattle. I am grateful to have such an amazing wife, family, and support system to lean on during this time.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Gibbe.
Welcome to Mailbag Friday, kids.
Gibbe.
Who's up for a little fun and shenanigans? Although every question I got seems to be, like, serious.
People are fired up. They're ready for football. They're ready.
Settle
for the
down.
season.
Relax. This is from Johnny. Johnny agrees with us. He says, honestly, that he's with us on turning Burke into a Link-style major course. Let's go.
Let's go.
Never happening.
This is gonna be when we were.
This will be my. This is. Yeah.
I was just gonna say when we were in those intense beer pong games a couple of weeks ago. The great Charlie Korsmo, every time the good Dr. Aziz had a chance to make a shot to force an extra session, he would remind him that before the shot that this was his legacy on the line before the ball would go in the air.
I like it.
And I think this golf course that will host a major championship on the shores of Lake Erie will be your legacy, Beau Bishop.
The legacy. There will be a lot of sleepless nights until it's done.
And I want you to have lots of sleep. I want you to be well rested. Sleep like you're loved, like Lucius Ferris from Gladiator. Sleeps like he's loved.
All right, let's get into it. Barney tweets at the show at LS1_CMonkey.
Okay.
Did a double take. I'm confident that I can roll with that and not end up in a meeting.
I think you're fine.
Friday. In support of the Big 12's ban against opposing teams picking on Texas players by pointing horns downwards, will we see the Big Ten similarly ban the Buckeyes from scoring TDs against Michigan so the Wolverines stop crying?
Hold on a second. All right, this is your world. What in the world is going on? I saw that, and obviously our quarterback had quite a tweet about that.
So,
what's going on?
Yes. It's insane. So, Tom Herman, to my knowledge, Tom Herman, the former offensive coordinator at Ohio State and coach at Texas, took great umbrage with the horns down, which is something that Oklahoma guys have done for years, which is we've all seen, and our guy did it. Our guy did it a lot because he likes to poke bears, and it was quite entertaining when he did. My response to that would be, Jimmy crack corn, and I don't care. Like, get over it. If you don't want them doing horns down, it's not. If you're going to do horns up, everybody else can do horns down. And so the idea that they penalize teams for doing horns down is insane. It's insane.
How can they do
this? And they will
this?
continue to penalize them if they do it towards Texas players. Like, come on, man. Grow up. Stop somebody. Don't be so soft, Texas.
What is their justification for this? It is not a symbol of
hate. That it is a sacred.
That's
a sacred symbol.
It's like saying, like, if somebody threw a terrible towel on the field and somebody, threw it down, Hawk Tui, like that's, I mean, what do you mean?
Right.
That's the whole point of having your symbol, so we can have a back and forth.
You know how USC does victory?
Uh-huh.
USC does the victory. Like, if all of a sudden you were doing this, like, would it be a big deal? Who cares? Get over it.
But how is a conference legislating what can be done and now affecting the outcome of games?
It's crazy. It is absurd.
Are they trying to say, though, that it's
as it sounds,
linked to any type of racial, societal injustice?
Nope.
It's just the guys at Texas don't like it. It hurts their feelings. Their
feelers are hurts.
As at first I thought it was an article from like The Onion, a total satire.
Right. No, it's real. Oh, no, it's real. Hey, Gibby, what was the name of the guy who tweeted that in to us? Do we have his name?
It was Barney.
Barney, what I would say in regard to the Michigan shot is that the more appropriate school there would be potentially Iowa or Purdue, a school that has actually taken something from Ohio State recently, maybe even Michigan State. Michigan, no big deal. They won twice in 20 years. Wake me up when they start winning again.
It's not a rivalry right now, unfortunately. I think it's more fun when it is.
It is not a rivalry. No,
it's not at this point.
No.
It's definitely more fun to pick on.
Stop crossing out the M's on campus.
What I'll say though, it doesn't take much to rejuvenate it. If you were to look at a big picture view of us and the Steelers over the last 15 years, you'd say not much of a rivalry. It kind of feels like one right now though, because we just beat them twice in a row, including a whooping in the playoffs in a game of import, and then now it's back. But we've got to keep it going.
Because you have to take something that matters from them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Michigan has to do. The difference is the NFL is set up for everybody to go 8-8. So if you draft well, in college it's not. In college,
no.
Ohio State recruits. Michigan does not. Ohio State develops. Michigan does not.
Is there ever – I think college football, and you could say college basketball to a degree as well, but in college basketball – the one-and-dones and the constant changeover at the top programs allows well-coached programs who actually maintain some guys 3 or 4 years to beat them. I don't know, though, there is any major sport that is as beloved and watched that is as rigged for the top teams. It's not rigged. That's probably the wrong word. That it's just the way
No, it's not rigged.
It's not rigged at all. Everybody has the same opportunity to recruit and do all this, that, whatever.
Here's the way to phrase it.
The deck is stacked.
There's no sport in this country it's the second most popular sport in this country. It is where the most important work is not done on game day.
Yeah, right.
That the recruiting and the development, and they have to be hand in hand because Michigan's recruited fine. They just don't develop. So that's what it is that most of the work is done by the time you get to Saturday.
And there's
the
also,
most important work,
akin to baseball, a huge financial disparity that furthers and perpetuates the elites remaining the elites.
That's not as big. Well, that's not as big as you think because the Power 5 conferences all split that money. Like they split. So in other words, Ohio State's profits, based on which again the biggest is the television, are the same as Michigan. They're the same as Penn State. They're the same.
Purdue?
That's not where in fact, Ohio State is actually, because they have so many non-revenue sports, they actually don't make as much as the other ones do. And the boosters are similar. Penn State's got boosters. Michigan's got boosters. It's just the recruiting is the big separator. Now, the idea that Ohio State competes with Bowling Green for the same thing is obviously lunacy.
Correct. It just feels like for at least at the beginning of every season, you're going to have Ohio State in the conversation. Alabama's going to be in the conversation. Clemson right now, but that can come and go in waves.
Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson,
Oklahoma,
LSU or Georgia, and Oklahoma.
Right. A Big 12 school.
That's
and any.
And that'll be this way.
Any team in the SEC can come up, but you can have teams in the SEC fluctuate up and down in terms of their relevance to pursuing something elite.
Yep. Fair.
John McManus tweets at the show, at Browns_Daily, using the hashtag AskCBD. Who's cooking soup tonight? Hashtag great day to be alive. It's too warm.
You know what he's talking about right now. That's from that song. Isn't that from that song? He's got like rice in the microwave, making some soup on a Friday night. Like,
that's right.
Fired up. That's what he's talking about.
That's right.
I think he's being sarcastic.
Great day to be
alive.
me. That's right.
That's what I think he's being.
I think he is too. Who's cooking soup? That's a good job out of him.
Yeah.
That's a good job out of him. It's a bad job out of me for not recognizing it right away. Wasn't
even my song.
Further proving the point that I probably haven't really ever known the words to that song other than the chorus.
Yeah, that's all you need. You can get through the rest of it.
The chorus is great. It's a great chorus.
Very nice.
Football question for Zegura from Howard Snyder. What is the schedule to cut down from 90 to 53?
I believe there's a minimum cut down after the first one.
Yes, after the first preseason.
Then a minimum one after the second, and then you get to the 53, if I'm not mistaken, Gibby, that Tuesday after the third preseason game.
Correct.
Prior to Labor Day weekend, which is now back for the people.
Back on for you.
For everybody.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So the first cut down's 5 players.
Yeah, it's small.
Second cut down's 5 players.
Small.
Third cut down the Tuesday after the Atlanta
80
game.
80 to 53.
Monster cut.
Yeah, 80 to 53.
And all of a sudden, Labor Day weekend is available.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. It's
Beautiful.
right.
So,
I love
Gibby,
it.
before we get to the next question, when you thought of your, this T-shirt exchange that has happened, and we have your beautiful Hawaiian shirt, I was hoping I got you because you might have ended up with like a trio of garments because there's so many things that we could have got. Like a Wednesday night taped shirt would have been incredible. What were you expecting out of this? Or did you have no expectations? A Banana Grande shirt, your face on a banana?
There were no expectations.
So you weren't even thinking like of where they might go?
Nope. No. And all this, the whole T-shirt thing came up like as we were going on vacation.
Yeah.
So I was like,
yeah.
I was not even thinking about it. Now I'm like, there's someone I got to get a shirt for, and how am I going to come up with something as creative as this?
Where are you guys getting these printed?
I believe they did it from like the Custom Ink is a website online.
Something.
Okay.
Something you can
So
go to.
let me ask you guys this. Brown's therapy, I don't think anyone could argue. I mean, the man's a genius. But beyond that, has put Gibby in some of the most side-splitting situations.
Incredible.
If you had to pick one of the images that Gibby's head has been on to become a shirt, what would be your number one draft pick of Brown's therapy, Gibby in certain scenes? Because there's one that jumps to my head that I think I think we could sell about 100,000 of them.
All right, go. Tell me.
The chicken one.
When he's a gobbledygooker? When he comes out of the egg at Survivor Series?
Yep.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
I think you could sell. How many do you want to sell?
Boy. Yeah.
It's such a treat.
It is a treat. There really are just.
There's so many.
So.
That's what I'm trying to think. I'm like, man, I'd have to bring them all up.
I feel like I favored all of them so that I could eventually go back and look at them.
There's so many.
But that's the one that jumps out to me that was just so great. I mean, and you always are in that annoyed face, which is so great, and then you in that chicken, it's just so good.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are a lot.
There was one where he had you over like Kramer's face on the turkey
on
from
the
Seinfeld.
turkey.
That
yes,
was very good.
That was a good one. I feel like there was one where he was like like a baby, like a giant baby.
There were a couple. There were a couple that I sent to my wife, and she's like, "I really need to get this guy a better picture of you because he's doing amazing things, and you have such a
that's the picture. No, that's the one.
Twins,
that's what makes it. You're so
Twins
annoyed.
Is pretty nice. The twins from the other day is actually
Twins is good. That was fun.
It should have been you and my dad though.
You just don't like it because you're the
peas
short
in a
guy.
pod. I'm not a DeVito.
You could be a DeVito.
You had a good run.
I had a great run.
Let's see, what else do I have here? From Underdog, is Nathan going to have a press conference to announce his retirement in the pursuit of being quarterback for the Browns now that he's 43?
Absolutely not. Like a fine wine.
No chance.
I'm getting better with age. My body is as intact as it's been in a decade. I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. Full strength.
Literally.
That's right.
Literally.
That's right.
Watch out.
Full strength.
Shoot your
ready to go.
What a job out of you.
Thank you.
What a job. That's a good job. That was a good job.
Let me say this. If it happens the way Beau was talking about, where the third preseason game is now the fourth preseason game.
Yeah.
We're a very charitable organization. One drive for charity. We get unbelievable behind-the-scenes content. My quest for this. Then every yard of the offense gains I'm out there is something for charity. I could end up in any number of medical facilities after this, and I just think it'd be great fun.
No.
I could completely. Are you nuts? A 22-year-old
well, I just know
behemoth hitting me?
I think that perhaps that if this was going to happen, it would have happened with our previous regime. That this regime is not known for tomfoolery and ballyhoo. And so us in the middle of August going up to you and you go, hey, Coach, we got a great idea. I mean, this is a man who doesn't waste a step. And you think he's going to be like, third preseason game, let's go clown around with Zegura. I don't think that's
the only thing that would help with this regime is that I have played flag football against AB, and he has a healthy respect for my ability to sling the pill.
That does not mean that he is going to welcome you onto his field.
What?
Ludicrous.
Well, it's true.
Ludicrous.
It may be ludicrous, but it's also true.
Fine.
I had the best shot with Mr. Farmer. Farmer and Pet would have been the best shot I think I had.
All right, real quick here before we get out. I don't know. I don't think we got to this earlier in the week. Someone tweeted at us earlier in the week, and I just bookmarked it, archived it for today. Mr. Magoo needs your help. Me and the fellows planning a golf trip to Arizona. Any advice for us? Did you see this one from earlier in the week?
Did he say anywhere in the state of Arizona, or was he specific?
Where's he going is key.
First of all, the golf's going to be great.
Planning a golf trip to Arizona.
It's going to be great.
That's all it says.
Right. Go to Scottsdale, the Scottsdale area. There's tons of incredible golf there. You can head up to Boulders if you want. You got Troon. You have TPC at Scottsdale. I mean, the golf out there is ridiculous.
A lot of those are locked to. Most of those are locked to resorts?
You can always get on Troon. You can get yourself onto that one. I'm sure a man of Magoo's means he can figure it out, but then you got to make sure you hit up Barrio Queen. I mean, that's it. That's all I'm worried about. That's what I'm focused on. Some Conchinita EP.
Here's the deal. You're going to be so happy.
Yeah, just being in Arizona.
It's the golf course is going to be negligible.
That's right.
There are a lot of great courses out there.
It's about being with the boys, being with the fellas, your friends.
Yeah, you're going to have a great time.
Having the time of your life.
I wouldn't sleep. Now, I have not been down there. What is the one down in Tucson?
The course or the resort?
That resort.
Dove Mountain?
Dove Mountain?
Yeah. It's halfway between Tucson and Phoenix. Dove Mountain's ridiculous.
That wouldn't be the worst.
No.
That wouldn't be the worst to go stay down there. My guess is they probably have 2 18s. That might be a fun little trip.
Well, that would be Magoo. Let me salute you on doing well. If you're taking your trip to Dove Mountain, that would be.
That's right.
That's right.
That's what I do. I'd head right down there.
Yeah, of course. That's why you're going to build us a championship course.
Kevin
on the
Costa
lake.
says. That's right. Kevin Costa says the three of us as the three amigos would make the best shirt. That's probably valid.
That's good. Yeah, that's out. He's done that. 100%.
No, but on
therapy.
A shirt.
Right. No, I would like that. That is a good one for us.
Oh, no. That would be a good shirt.
That'll be in our store one day when we're ready to go.
We'll sling some merch for people. Well, we got this. We could be slinging some merch here maybe at the end of the month, right? I mean, is that in play? Kind of maybe. We could be slinging a little merch for the people.
Maybe.
All right. Still so much more to come.
By the way.
Yeah.
Oh. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850
so much.
ESPN Cleveland. Are you on the injured list? We can help get you back in the game. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk & Elk, a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Call your shots, boys. Who's winning this weekend?
I'm going to go with the guy in the – I think Oosthuizen is playing some of the best golf in the world right now and seems to be very comfortable. I'm going to go Oosthuizen. What about a wire-to-wire Louis Oosthuizen after blowing it at the U.S.?
Seconds.
Who you got, Gibbe?
Spieth returns to glory.
Ooh, I'd love that. I'd like that.
I'd
20.
My oldest son loves Spieth. I'm rooting for Spieth. I'd love to see it. Morikawa is stone cold, though.
He
man.
is.
These
Yeah,
young
he's
kids
good, too.
10.
Going to be fun. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yes.
We